Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today we got to talk about China because China has been hacking U.S. infrastructure. This is coming from CNBC, but there are multiple sources reporting on this. They had a good write-up, and here's what's going on. Microsoft warned today that Chinese state-sponsored attackers had compromised quote-unquote critical U.S. cyber infrastructure across numerous industries with a focus on gathering intelligence. Now, this Chinese group, codenamed Volt Typhoon, has been operating since mid-2021, according to the advisory from Microsoft. Now, the organization is apparently working to disrupt, quote, critical communications infrastructure between the United States and Asia, end quote. And basically, they're trying to stymie efforts basically during, quote, future crisis, end quote. Meaning, if a crisis comes up, they already have access to the infrastructure. They can shut down infrastructure to make it harder for the United States to respond. Let's say something about Taiwan. We'll see. Now, the National Security Agency put out a bulletin on this also today, detailing how this hack works and how the cyber security teams should respond. Now, the attack is apparently ongoing. In an advisory, Microsoft urged impacted customers to, quote, close or change credentials for all compromised accounts. U.S. intelligence agencies became aware of this incursion in February, around the same time that a Chinese spy balloon was downed, if you remember that, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the infiltration was basically focused on communications infrastructure in Guam and other parts of the U.S. Infrastructure for intelligence. Now, that's alarming, interestingly enough, to intelligence, because Guam, in essentially, Southeast Asia, sits at the heart of the American military response in case Taiwan is invaded. Now, Volt Typhoon is able to infiltrate organizations using an unnamed vulnerability in a popular security suite called FortiGuard. Now, FortiGuard is made by Fortinet, so heads up all you Fortinet users and owners. Now, once the hacking group has gained access to the corporate system, they steal user credentials from this security suite, and they use them to try to gain access to other corporate systems as well. Now, the state-sponsored attackers are not looking to create disruption just yet, according to all sources. Rather, quote, the threat actor intends to perform espionage and maintain access without being detected for as long as possible, end quote. In other words, they're trying to become APTs, or advanced persistent threats, saying dormant, monitoring, all those kinds of things to be activated for whatever purpose in the future. Usually we see these things for ransomware. On the intelligence side, it could be disruption or to hamper a response, as we talked about. Now, infrastructure is obviously, in every critical sector, and all of it, for the most part, has been impacted in some way, shape, or form, meaning every critical sector has had some kind of impact, including communication, transport, and maritime industries. Government organizations were also targeted by Volt Typhoon as well. So, a couple of different things. One, obviously, and I don't even think I have to say this, but if you're using Fortinet products or FortiGuard products, make sure all of them are 100% up to date, especially if you're in a critical sector or part of the government, if you're watching or listening to this. The second thing is, this is actually really interesting because just the other day, China and Russia basically formed a pact. They formed an alliance with each other. You might have read that kind of news. Obviously, Russia is in the middle of this invasion in Ukraine, and basically the speculation is that China has been looking to see how that is going, as they have their eye on eventually invading and retaking Taiwan at some point. And this could be a prelude, or essentially a build-up to this, meaning let's put our advanced persistent threat systems dormant across U.S. infrastructure, U.S. response, and other responses, let's say Japan or other allies, South Korea, etc. And if they decide to invade, they can then basically cause technological chaos in the intelligence communities that would be helping U.S. military and other militaries like the Japanese Defense Forces respond to this situation. So I think this is obviously something, very critical, as we see this alliance with China and Russia essentially survive. When Russia got cut off from SWIFT and cut off from Visa and MasterCard, Russia immediately went to UnionPay, which is based out of China, and they were welcomed, basically with open arms. So we have a really serious problem on our hands, so we have to be vigilant. And again, if you're using Fortinet products, go update them right now. Can't say you haven't been told. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everybody.